I received a request for a tutorial on the circle vest that I styled 2 videos back. However, my current schedule does not allow me the time to create the garment, film the process, and put out the video as soon as I would like to. So I thought today we would try an alternate tutorial format that I really hope is still comprehensible. Let me know what you think and enjoy! Let's start with the yarn. I use a chunky weight yarn. Each skein is 100 grams, and I ended up using 4 skeins. The circle motif. So this is just a regular flat circle, and they are created using double crochets. If you know how to make a flat circle, you should be good to go. If not, I have written down some instructions. So you start with the magic circle. I'll link a video down below. If there's anything in this video that I mentioned that you don't know how to do, check the description box down below, and there should be a video linked to it. So I start with the magic circle, then I chain 3, and I do 15 double crochets into the magic circle. Once I reach the end, I slip stitch into the chain 3 that we did at the beginning, and you should have 16, I wrote double crochets, but you should have 16 stitches at the end of that round. Then round 2, you chain 3 again, then you do 2 double crochets per stitch, so we're doing an increase. So by the end of this round, you should have 32 stitches. Then you just tie off. Cut the yarn, pull it through, pull it tight, and you have your circle motif. So attaching the motifs. So the first way that you could do this, you could attach the motifs when you're done. So you crochet all the circles that you need, and then you start attaching them. You could also attach them as you go, which is the method I used. So how do you attach as you go? So you have your first completed circle. So you're doing the next one. You've done your first round, and now you're on the second round. So when you reach the second round, you're going to crochet 3/4 of the way, which is 24 stitches. And then when you reach the top of the stitch here, you're going to slip stitch into the corresponding spot on the completed circle. And then you're going to finish off the rest of your circle, which is 8 stitches. Then you tie off. If you've watched the spiderweb sweater tutorial I did, it's quite the same. When you're almost done, you slip stitch into the completed one, then you finish off. Reduces the number of ends you have to tuck in. So please keep in mind as we turn to the next page that each of the circles I made ended up being 3 inches in diameter. And I'm gonna need you to remember that as I turn over. So it is possible that yours won't be 3 inches in diameter. If that is the case, then your numbers will be a little bit different, but the process will be the same. So measurements. The 2 measurements I considered while creating this were my shoulder to shoulder measurement, the measurement from one end of my shoulder to the other end, as well as my desired length. So in terms of the shoulder, my shoulder is 17 inches across. From one end of my shoulder to the other end of my shoulder, 17 inches across. I minus 2 inches. What are these 2 inches? It is the ribbing. So there'll be ribbing for the armhole along here. The ribbing is give or take 1 inch along that side. So 1 inch here, 1 inch here, 2 inches. So my 17-inch shoulder measurement minus 2 inches is 15 inches across. So that means that we want across our chest, across our back, the width of this garment to be 15 inches. So 15 divided by 3 means we need 5 circles for the width, which you can see here. So at the very top, I removed 1 circle. This is the head space. So at the shoulder, there are 2, and then 2 on the opposite side, but the rest of them is 5 across. 5 across, 5 across, 5 across. Now for the length. So I wanted my length to be 21 inches. Same thing, 21 divided by 3, 7 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 circles. So this is how it will look on the front. You can count the number of them if you want. Of course, you can customize it to yourself if you want yours to be not as long, or you don't want it to go across your entire shoulder. You know, you can do what you want. On the back, this is how it looks. 7 down, the same 2 and 2 along the shoulder with the headspace, and then 1 row of 5 across. So again, there you have it. So as you're attaching these motifs, remember to leave a space for your armhole. So you'll attach the front to the back along these 4 at the bottom, but I left 3 circles unattached for the armhole. Great stuff. Now we move on to the ribbing. So the first part of the ribbing process is connecting the circles. So as you can see, demonstrated by my diagram here, when you crochet the circles, there is a gap indicated by this red line. There is a gap there. Because you're trying to crochet the ribbing across, you're gonna need somewhere to crochet it onto, within those gaps, that is. So how did we create something to crochet it onto? Quite simple. From the joins here, you count 5 stitches down, right? Then you chain 4 across to the same point on the next circle. Slip stitched along the bottom, chain 4. So the ribbing. So it is a slip stitch ribbing that I used. I love a slip stitch ribbing. I like the way it looks. I like other types of ribbing. Half double crochet creates a beautiful ribbing. Double crochet creates a nice ribbing. But for this project, I didn't use those. I use a slip stitch ribbing. I particularly like the slip stitch ribbing along the neck hole and the armhole because it creates a cinch. Here's an itty bitty piece of paper. So if this is the end of a garment that you want to add ribbing to, the slip stitch ribbing creates that kind of shape, opposed to, oh boy, these drawings, just going straight out or even like that. So I like that at the armholes and at the neckline because it creates that shape. I also used it along the bottom though. So another thing to note is this corner. I curved round the circle here. In the diagram it's not touching, but it goes around the circle, right? So when you're crocheting ribbing around a curve, there are a couple extra stitches you need to put into the corner in order for it to fan out. I will link a video down below that shows that process. Alternatively, if you do not want to curve round the edge, you could crochet the ribbing and stop at the corner and then tie off your ends, and then start it again and go up. So you would have it facing like that. Oh my goodness, I really hope this was, and like that. That's another way. At the neckline, I chained 6. Along the armhole, I chained 6. And along the edge, I chained 11. I chained 6 stitches, but the 6th stitch is just for turning, so you're going to be working into 5. Same goes for these two. Chained 11. The 11th one is just for turning, so you're going to be working into 10. So I will link a video down below on how to attach ribbing to an already finished garment. This is my preferred way to do ribbing. So I believe that is it. I don't think there's anything I've left out. I hope this was useful to you. Yeah. So you may remember this sweater from the styling video I did 2 videos back, I believe. I want to add sleeves to it, but I would also like it to remain a vest. So I'm going to try and create a detachable sleeve. So this isn't really a tutorial, but showing you the process. So this is what I've got. This is what I've got so far. The mesh side I have done, it's about 16 inches. So now I'm doing the top part. So I mentioned that I wanted to make the sleeves detachable. So the way I'm going to do that is to create buttonholes at the top of the sleeve. And then on the inside of the sleeve itself, we're going to put buttons. So then it's detachable. So this is how much space I have left of ribbing to do. And this is how much yarn I have left. Will I make it? Stay tuned.
A little later.
Hip hip, hooray! I also added a thumb hole. Sleeves attached. This is the inside. I've tried it on both ways and it looks good either way, so very happy about that.
Bye, have a great time.